back, guys. So I'm wanting to give you a quick demonstration of the makeup I got yesterday that I unboxed. This is exclusively just for the people that have subscribed to my newsletter. Yeah, my face is all broken out, but hopefully we can hide some of that today with this wonderful, very pigmented foundation. But yeah, this is just going to be a quick demo of just some of the things in LimeLife. Just have my hair pulled back. Just for y'all to look at it and see if there's anything you might be interested in trying. Just kind of get with me if you want to try something out. But yeah, so just follow along while I put my makeup on. Very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the First Base Makeup Priming Spray. Might need to prime it because I haven't used it yet. And I also went ahead and primed when I did my skincare this morning. I went ahead and primed with Due Date as well. But this is just to kind of help with my oily skin. Okay, gonna let that. Then I'm going to take a wet blenderful. This is our take on the Beauty Blender. It's got a nice little angled side, and then it's also got a point for you to kind of do a little bit more detail work. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the foundation. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the foundation, and this has got 50% pigmentation. It's $36 for the pan. Usually everyday use for most people, if they use the right amount and they don't overuse it, they get about 6 months worth of product, which to me that's pretty awesome for $36. I go through foundation, if I wear it every single day, about a month or two. So right there I'm already, tripling how much I use. So what you do is you just take and lightly put it in, and then you're just going to do a half a turn. Let me put a little bit more pressure, because it's my first time using it. Alright, and so then what you're going to do is you're going to do that to each little corner, and then you're going to start blending it out. And I may need to go in a little bit more because, again, like I said, this is a first time demo for everything. And the biggest thing with this foundation is that it's wax based, so it doesn't fall into fine lines and wrinkles, and it doesn't clog up your pores. So all of this acne that I already have going on, that's not going to happen. So I just went ahead and dipped in a little bit more because, like I said, trying to make sure I don't put too much on at a time. And then of course you want to blend. So as you can already see, it's already starting to even out my skin tone. It's already starting to lay down really nice. It's got a very dewy skin-like look. Get down the neck. And this is Shinto Zero. It's one of our warm tone shades. It definitely is matching my skin, so that's great. So now the next thing I'm going to do, and I didn't prepare to do this, but I think I'll do it a little bit today. Let me find a brush to do it real quick. Is I'm going to do a little bit of spot conceal because I do still have like a little bit of a breakout. So you just, again, just lightly tap in. And then you're going to start spot concealing. And just building it up from there. Now my camera is really good in high def, so you're going to definitely see a lot of skin texture because I have that, unfortunately. That's just my skin. I have the skin of a man. It happens to us women sometimes. Okay, and I'm just going to take and even that back out. And I might touch up a little bit more, just because I do have this wonderful, as you see, it's definitely concealing, but you can also see my freckles coming through, so it looks very natural. This is not what I would consider a full coverage right off the bat. You do have to build it up, but the great thing about that is that you don't have to worry about it looking cakey as soon as you put it on, because I have experienced that with some foundations that I have tried to use. And to be honest, like I said, you can make it out just because this camera is really good about bringing out texture. But to my face in real life, not on the camera, you can't see any of that. It's gone. Okay. Then I'm going to take the pointed part. I'm going to pop into Concealer Zero, which is the concealer I got to highlight. Just going to pop. And of course, these are brand new pans of this, so it's definitely, it's taking me some time to get used to the pressure to apply. Back to putting my concealer on. I'm going to go ahead and put some up here. And it looks like I'm getting a lot, like I keep redipping, but I'm not. I mean, I am redipping, but I'm not picking up a lot of product. It's just a little bit here and there. Like, it honestly, if you was to look at my pan, you can't even tell I've made the first couple of dips. Like, you can see where I swirled it enough to pick up some, but I mean, like, you can't even tell that I've used any. So, just kind of highlight there. I'm going to use this to prime my eyelids for my eyeshadow. Clean up my brows. I did go ahead and do my brows off camera because brows are not my strong suit. Because my brows, they are definitely cousins. They're not sisters. They're not twins. I don't even want to say sometimes they're even cousins that even like go to reunions. They actually might be just neighbors and their other neighbors nosy. But, okay, and then I'm going to just take anything that's excess and just kind of highlight my forehead, down the nose, around here. And so this is professional makeup, very natural. I'm trying to remove any creasing. Okay, and then because what I want to use to contour is cream, I'm going to flip my beauty, well, not my beauty blender, my blender full, and I'm going to dip into the contour shade that I picked out for myself. Cross your fingers, because this was an experiment. And I'm just going to nestle that in there and bring it up into my forehead. I used Ashing for Trouble for my brows. Just did a little bit of spoiling and took a brush and did them. I've kind of moved them around here doing my makeup, but I can fix it here in a minute. So blending this out. And when I go to set it, it'll look good. So just right here into my little recess of my natural cheek line. Popping this on the forehead a little bit to create shadow in my hairline. And then we just want to blend this. And you want to kind of take and kind of roll and kind of blend it up. Natural shadow actually looks lighter at the top because there's actually more light to be hit. But that actually looks really good for a contour. So I would say my experiment, my hypothesis was proven correct. Okay. Now I'm going to look over my under eye. There's a little bit of creasing. I haven't set it, so I'm not going to blame that on the makeup. It's just I've been crinkling my eyes trying to do this. So real quick before I crease, I'm going to take this brush into the setting powder and go ahead and dab in there and smooth that out and set it. Smooth out those creases. Because once you set those creases, they are there. They're stuck. And that's anything. So, do it over on this side. Excuse my dogs. They go crazy. I live near a park. They go crazy. Alright. Let me grab another type of brush. Make sure I blended that out. Okay. I'm going to take, again, dab in here. I am in love with this setting powder. I have used it with other foundations, other concealers, and nothing budges. And that makes me really happy. So of course, everything that I've put on so far has been wax-based. Our foundation is plant-based, so it's vegan, cruelty-free, don't test on animals, all that fun jazz. Get down my neck. And I haven't noticed any flashback with this, so that's a good sign as well for the setting powder. Our concealers are beeswax based, so we can't say that they're vegan, but they're also still cruelty free. We don't test on animals. Okay, that looks really good. All right. And then the blush I decided to use today was the new one that I got, which is shade number 4, which is Keen, which is the one I got in the teen collection that I unboxed yesterday. Quick tip, a lot of people don't know how to put on blush, so what I like to do is dip into the pan just a little bit, and then of course knock off any excess. You don't want to put that because it is going to be too concentrated. A lot of people complain about not knowing how to put on blush, so I want to do the 2-finger rule, which is basically you take 2 fingers and do it this way on your nose, and then you push down, and then you sweep back. Just a gradual sheen. And it should be above your contour, which today it is. So, and it just puts a little bit of flush in your cheek, which to me, I already have a little bit of natural redness, so I have to be careful about how heavy-handed I do blush, but that's okay. I'll just sit there and just blend it back out. And try not to get too close to my nose. I mean, if a little bit gets there when I'm doing this, that's fine. But just to make sure that you kind of do, when you smile, you get it on the top of the apple of your cheek and then kind of sweep it back and kind of blend it out. That's when it's going to look the prettiest and the most natural. All right. Be looking on Facebook for my selfie after I do my makeup today, because then you'll actually see what it looks like in person. So again, 2-finger rule, smile, plop it right there. I had a friend tell me that she doesn't wear blush for that very reason. She's afraid to put it on. She doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, well, that's not enough of a reason to not wear blush. So I taught her how to put it on because every woman needs that nice little woken up blush look to her face. Everybody needs that. Kind of looks like healthy, glowy skin. That's what we want. And again, sorry for the dogs in the background. They're having a field day today. All right, let's see if I can get you close enough to the, that looks pretty good. All right. Wish I had a little bit of a better camera on my phone, but that's okay. Just want to make sure. And if you do put too much, a good trick for blush, if you feel like you did kind of go a little ham on it, is just take some translucent powder, dip it back in, take same brush, dip it back in, knock off some excess, and then what you do is you just kind of veil it. And another trick you can do is you can also take what's left of your foundation and go back over, and that also can help you veil it. I typically don't like doing that with a powder blush. I mean, I don't really care today because I mean I'm not really going anywhere fancy, but I really don't like doing that with powders. I like to take a translucent powder and put it over a powder. Did this side too, just to kind of make it even now, since I did do that. And I'll even repeat this. I don't really like doing that unless it's cream blushes or wax blushes, wax-based blushes, with doing that with your foundation, just because I think once you've set everything with powder, it can look cakey or spotted or blotchy. It's not doing that today, but in some cases it does do that. So kind of want to be careful on that tip. I would use the translucent setting powder instead of doing this. Now, if I had said the same thing about my contour before I said it, I could have done that, but you know, it's whatever. And the great thing about this Blenderful, by the way, is look at this cute little case to put this in once you're done with it. Once I clean it, I can put it, pop it back in here and take that with me. That is so cool. I love the packaging on this stuff. It's just beautiful. All right. So, because this has a sheen, I'm skipping highlight today. Normally I do, but I do that, but I'm not doing that today. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put some lip gloss on and start priming my lips for a lipstick. Not because I think that the gloss that I'm using today with my makeup is going to look patchy or dry, but I have really severe dry lips. So what I normally like to do is just take and put before while I'm doing my makeup and letting it kind of absorb in is just some coconut oil lip gloss, and just preps my skin, my lips for whatever product I'm going to use. All right, so today I have like a couple of things, some things that are not LimeLife, some things that are, because of course I just started buying the LimeLife eyeshadows. And from what I can tell so far, just in my brows, I mean, they don't look great today. I really need to get them waxed. I really need to take care of them, but they're good for right now. Is that I did use it for my eyebrows, and it looks good, feels good, very pigmented, but I don't have a lot of shades, so I am having to take from my other collections just to do some eye looks. So the very first one that we're going into is Safe Word, and this is from Jeffree Star's Androgyny palette. I'm just going to dip in there really lightly, knock off the excess, and I'm just going to lay this into my transition, as my transition shade in my crease. So and I'm just going to do one eye because I don't want to bore you with the same steps over and over again, and I'll do it on the other side off camera. And just keep going and doing little sweeping motions back and forth. And then when you get out to this corner, you want to kind of flick it out and kind of do circular motions. Kind of do the same thing in this corner as well, just to lay down that transition shade. So that looks really good. Laid down my transition shade, I'm going to go ahead and go into the very first LimeLife eyeshadow, which is, I think it's Ashing for Trouble, which, by the way, I love their play on words. Like, I'm already one person that loves, like, puns anyways, so the fact that a lot of their titles for a lot of their shades are very punny, I love that. It's just one of the, it's just the best. I just love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop, just pop a brush in there just a little bit, because these are pigmented. Because, well, I did it with my brows, so I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and start building, and what I hope to accomplish today is a little bit of a halo eye. So I'm just going to start moving this around and kind of flicking it out, almost like making kind of like a triangle shape on the outside, and then work it all the way into the inner corner. And I just want to keep building this up. And like I said, they're very pigmented. There's not a lot of fallout that I've noticed so far. Most of the time I will lay down some translucent powder, just to keep that from happening and to catch it. That way I can just sweep it away whenever I'm done. And sometimes I like to do my eyes first before I do my makeup, but this is just to play around today. I'm not really going anywhere fancy. Probably going to pick Steven up from work here in a little bit. That's about it. So I'm just kind of, blending this, and already I can tell that this is going to be one of my favorite cool tone shadows, because where it is that ashy color, it's very cool toned. And the problem with doing purples and things like that, which is the next shadow that I'm going to put on, you have to be really careful and always add something that's warmer in your crease, just because if you use nothing but cool tones, you're going to look like someone just socked you in the eye, especially if you do a halo look. It's going to look like someone just popped you with a good one. So just be mindful of that when you're putting your makeup on. But I love these eyeshadows already. I was swatching them a little bit yesterday, just because I was curious. And again, I love makeup. It's one of my, it's one of those things that I do. I sit in front of a mirror and do that just to kind of relax. And so, and I just love it. I love the confidence it's given me. I love not necessarily looking different, but just the technique of it, learning, the way to play with color. It's almost like being an artist. And trust me, I can't draw anything, but I sure can put my makeup on. So it's like a creative outlet. It's a de-stressor for me. I think I'm actually picking it up pretty well. It's something that I'm actually very proud of being really good at in a certain capacity. Like, as far as for my face, I love putting it on myself. I've done a couple of events for friends. I did my niece's makeup for her wedding. I did my sister-in-law's makeup for her and my brother's wedding. So, I mean, it's something that I can offer my friends to do. Raylan, if you watch this, because I know that you're subscribed to my stuff, if you're watching this, hit me up if you want me to do your makeup. I'm just saying. Friend to a friend. But we're going to lay down that shadow, and like I said, we're going to work it into the inner corner. And I'm actually going to take a different brush that's a little bit more concentrated, like this, and pop in there again. I just wanted to kind of get it blended out in the crease, but I really want to go in and lay just a little bit more of a concentrated color on the inner corner and the outer corner, like that. And then we're just going to blend that forward, because anything that we put down we want to blend, just so it doesn't look like we just stuck it and left it. Want to be very intentional with where we place things, especially when you're doing things like a halo eye. Just add a little bit more here to this corner, because we want it to really elongate the eye. And this has been the weirdest experience, by the way, saying all of this stuff with nobody here. So be patient with me, learning curve here. This is something that I never thought in a million years I would do. I have watched YouTubers on, obviously YouTube, beauty influencers on YouTube, making these type of videos, and I think, man, I could never do that. But here we are. So just want to lay a little bit more in that corner there. And like I said, as you can see, like, I'm not lying. This is very pigmented. I've not had to really, I mean, I've blended, but that's just because they're really good to blend. Like, I mean, that looks great. And yeah, it looks really dark and kind of crazy right now because we're not done. All right, the next thing that we want to do, I'm going to take the same brush, and this is my favorite thing to buy from Sephora. Every year I will replace this because I wash it in the meantime. But this is called a color switch, and as you can already see, there's some shadows there. But you just take your brush and run it in there a couple of times, and any type of color from before is completely gone. So if LimeLife ever comes out with one of these, I'm gonna buy it. All right, so now we're going to take the Gilded Lily color. We're going to put it on the same places that I put that darker color, just to give it a little bit of shimmer and some dimension and a different kind of tone than what we laid down. And I'm just going to keep blending that. And you're probably thinking, well, that made no sense to do that, but trust me, trust me. We're gonna get some interesting play in here with another product. Not LimeLife, but I was in love with it when I bought it. Okay, so now see how, like, and again, it is starting to look like a bruise, which now aren't we kind of thankful that we laid that down, because it is starting to look kind of bruised, like someone just punched me in the eye. And that's the reason why we put that warm tone in there. And I have some other tricks too to kind of warm that up a little bit here in a second. All right, so now we've got that taupey dark color laid down. We've got the tan color from the Jeffree Star palette laid down in the crease. And then I just went in and took the exact same brush and took this Gilded Lily and put it on the outside and the inside corner. And we're going to do it on this eye. So I'm going to do that off camera just so I don't waste the space on my phone. The thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and just blend, just because I want to make sure that everything is starting to blend together and not have a harsh line. And this also helps to keep any of that shimmer shade that I put down in that Gilded Lily. It kind of gets rid of any of the sparkle and the shimmer and kind of blends it away, just in case it has a little bit of fallout. I don't really see that much, but just in case. And I'll do this again in our next step. So just wanted to blend it enough just to kind of keep that space clean. Another reason why I like to put so many different colors in my eyeshadow looks is because I have extremely hooded lids. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that about me, but when I like relax my face, you can really see how that completely decreases the size of lid space that I have to work with. So I have actually trained my face when I'm smiling and out is to just look awake, because then when I do that, you can see a whole lot more of what I've put down. Because if I didn't do that and I didn't train myself to do that, I would walk around, with a smile, but it'd look like that all the time. So no, I've gotten to the point now where I smile like I get really excited. And I'm like, hi, how are you? Because it also helps me look like I actually have eyelids, because sometimes it doesn't, I don't look like I do. And it's crazy. So what I'm taking now is just some glitter primer from e.l.f. I think it's like $1 or $2, maybe $3. e.l.f.'s kind of changed their process a little bit. And Sarah, I know you're watching this. Me and Sarah used to buy e.l.f. all the time. We would, go to Kmart in Corbin and pick it up. So I'm just going to pop that here in the center of each lid. Doesn't take a lot. I'll take a makeup wipe and clean this glue off of my fingers before I touch anything else. Not because I'd stick to it, but just because that's a very weird sensation to have on your fingers when you're trying to work. Okay, and then I forgot to get a packing brush. Alright, so a packing brush, something that's flat paddled like this. And then I'm going to take a loose pigment from Wet n Wild called Mary. So it's just going to pop it in the center. Another thing that I got from the Dollar Tree, very smart, is just this little glass disc thing. I use this as a palette if I need to mix something. Or if I have loose things like this, I can just plop it on there and I'm not making a mess. Because no one wants the craft herp going everywhere, which is aka glitter. No one wants that. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on that palette. And you can see it's on there just a little bit. Another thing you want to do just to get this to stick on there is just take some type of water or some type of spray. Spray your brush. Going to help you pick up some of that pigment a little bit better, plus it's going to make it a little bit more vibrant. And then you're going to pop that right in the center like so. And you want to put it basically right where you would match up with the pupil of your eye. So and you're just going to move that around and just kind of blend it along the edges, because again, we want everything to look seamless. We don't want it to look like we just stuck it on there. Like that. Take that fluffy brush and do the same. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side on camera just so you can see it again. Pick some of that up. And we're just going to pop it right in the center. And when I was planning this look, I was afraid that that was going to be too white and not fit in with the overall smoky vibe that we've got going on, but I was actually surprised, and I think it's because I laid down that really taupey color. It kind of gave it a base to kind of stick to, and it's not so white. But then you've just got a little, and something that'll draw your attention to that area. So I'm going to get out my color switch again, just because when I put these away, I don't want the glue and stuff to kind of dry on the brushes and damage my brush. So that'll clean that up real quick. All right. Next thing we want to do is grab, this is another technique as far as blush, just to kind of heat things up a little bit. What did I do with that blush? It's right there. Is another thing that you can do to incorporate the blush that you use into your eye, and especially this type of eyeshadow where it kind of does look like we've bruised me a little bit. You can take a little bit of your blush on another blending brush and then just hit it in the high points of your crease. And what that'll do is it'll just incorporate this color into your eye look, and it adds a little extra warmth that you might not have done with your transition. We wouldn't have really necessarily had to do that with this eye look, but just so it doesn't look like someone just like socked me in the face. Okay. So great little blender brush. This actually came with like 3 other brushes in a boxy charm that I got. And I really like them. I use them almost every single time I put eyeshadow on, because they're really good brushes. So I'm going to take, same kit, I'm going to take a blender brush like that. We're going to do the same thing that we've done here underneath, except for the glitter. Just don't do that part. So we're going to start out with Gilded Lily. And you're just going to start on this one and work it and thin it out, blending it out. So we're going to blend that, and then you're going to make sure that it connects up here. And we'll get a little bit more. Okay, do the same thing on this one. Get as close to the lash line as you can and just blend it out. Just even back and forth, just blending it. That's so hard to do on camera, getting that close to your eye. Alright, same thing with this shade, which is the Ashing for Trouble. And it's picking up a little bit warmer than it is in real life. It's actually a very cool tone brown. I don't know why it's picking up so warm, but and just blend that again. I'm making sure that it connects to this side. And then grabbing that Jeffree Star. Going into Safe Word. The way he names his eyeshadows are a little too risque for me, but it is what it is. So you're going to take that and actually smoke out. Use that to smoke out what you've laid down before. And just make sure that it connects this right here. You can see up here in the corner where I have just kind of done this before, that I use this as a transition shade quite a bit. And I keep switching between the phone recording and actually using my mirror so I know what I'm doing. Alright, and so the next two things are the inner corner highlight and highlighting the brow bone. And I'm just going to take this single shadow, and I don't remember what the name of it is, for Maybelline, just to kind of add, again, just a little bit more shine. So I'm just going to take that up here and just kind of place it along this line just to highlight the brow bone. And I have moved my brows around so much, I'll need to fix them. Okay, so highlighted the brow bone, dip on this side. It's just taking and fluffing a little bit of shimmer to kind of highlight that. And sometimes I use a shimmer, sometimes I use just a matte eyeshadow that's, you know, white or cream or something like that. I put that away, knowing good and well I needed it for my inner corner. Get with it, Alicia. Get with it. And then same for the inner corner highlight. Popping it. And again, this is just to make the eye look a little bit more into focus and not so close together. Not that I have that problem in my natural face, but it just kind of makes sure that it brings to a point and kind of widens out. Near set eyes, apparently most people, that's something that they don't want. Alright, now we're going to curl the lashes. What did I do with that mascara? Here we are. Alright, curl the lashes. This is my favorite eyelash curler. Also got it from Sephora. Because instead of like a normal curler being this way, it actually goes in, and that's really nice because then I don't feel like I'm like so far close to my eye that it's gonna pinch or anything like that, especially if you have a weird phobia about getting that close to your eyes. Me, not so much anymore from wearing contacts, but you know, it is what it is. And then of course, man oh man, I don't know if you saw my video about this buddy right here, but This is the best mascara I have ever tried, and I say that not because I sell LimeLife. I say that because I have tried drugstore mascaras. I have tried high-end mascaras. I didn't go so far as to buy anything like Tom Ford or anything like that, because I think something that you're going to throw away within like a month or two, because that's how you really should use mascara, is toss it because of bacteria and things. But if you're throwing it away every month to two, you don't want to spend a lot of money on mascara, but $20 is about the same in Sephora. But man, oh man, this mascara has changed my life. And I say that because it doesn't flake, it doesn't run underneath my eye. That happens to me a lot, again, because I have extremely hooded lids. That's a whole nother situation. Plus I have allergy eyes, so my eyes water. So far I have cried in this mascara and it has never run, and that is saying a lot too. It's a fiber mascara, so it doesn't flake, it doesn't smear. I can go on and on about this mascara. I'm not even kidding. And it builds upon itself. It lengthens. I haven't noticed much necessarily volume, but I think it's worth checking out if you are a mascara wearer, especially if that's in your everyday routine, because once you start layering it, it just keeps building on itself. And I have not, well, I said not seen a clump, but then I just clumped myself. That was my fault. Shaky hands trying to get close to that camera. And the great thing about this mascara, I mean, you can keep building and building. It doesn't flake, doesn't clump, doesn't make you look like you've got spider lashes, spider legs for lashes is what I meant to say. But I mean, man, oh man, like, look at the visible difference between the two. Sorry, I'm gonna go to my grave loving this mascara. And $20, I mean, you're paying what, $6, $7 to $11 at the drugstore, and it's gonna flake and it's gonna run. And I mean, I've tried Lash Paradise, I've tried that blue one from Maybelline, I think it's Maybelline, the Rocket. I've tried Better Than Sex, I've tried Rollerball, I've tried Better London. And the mess it does make is me. Like, that's my flaws, not the mascara's flaw. I've cried in this stuff, and I mean, like, boohoo cried, like swapped my eye, and nothing. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm putting things away because I planned ahead to plan everything out, but I have to pick up Steven here in a little bit, and he's gonna be like, what took you so long to come and get me? And I'm gonna be like, makeup and LimeLife, balling on a budget, slinging some makeup. All right, while this mascara is drying, which doesn't take it a long time to do, I am going to put my lip on. And I do take a makeup wipe and kind of get some of that oil back off, because I don't want slipping and sliding. And this is Peace. And again, trying to add a little bit of warmth back. And again, that's pulling more pink. On here, it is a little bit more peachy. I don't necessarily know what's going on with that, but it's a beautiful gloss. Their glosses are not sticky. They're very creamy. They're full coverage. They've got some color to them. And I just like adding a little bit more warmth to my lip when I do an eye look this color. Like when I do cool tones, I try to keep everything else warm, because again, I don't want everything monochromatic to the point where I look sick. And I do the opposite. If I have a warm eye look, I try to keep everything else cool toned. Sometimes that doesn't work out with tone. You really just have to learn, color concepts and playing. Great thing about our old lip, I don't know if there's a change in packaging, but our old lip gloss tubes come with mirror. But the new ones I got in my kit are round. I did notice that. But, either way, look at that packaging. Now you're gonna notice when one of these break off how could you not? But I don't think they have. I've not noticed that. And I'm pretty rough with my stuff, guys. I'm pretty rough with my stuff. So, you know, I throw things into my, you know, makeup bag and my purse and, you know, hit the road. I don't know. But anyway, just cleaning up that swatch so I don't put it everywhere. Alright, I think, other than setting spray, I think I'm done. I really need to fix up my brows. That's more to do with just I can't say spoiling, because that's not the word I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? It really needs fixed. I really need to, I'm telling you, I have been to 5 different salons trying to get my eyebrows fixed, and no one has fixed them. And like I said, they're not sisters, they're not twins, they're not even cousins. I think they're just neighbors next to a, you know, their neighbor that's nosy. That's the only thing I can say. Put away that blender full. Alright, where is that setting spray? So, setting spray, this is the Oil Strock Makeup Finishing Spray, because if I was not to set this, especially with something like this that mattifies, within a few hours it's going to melt off. And the fact that this promises 16 hours, I'll give you a check-in at the end of this video. 16 hours later, probably not 16 hours later, but normally my day kind of ends about 10 hours, 12, so for me putting it on. So I'll check in with you right before I go to take it off at the end of my day and tell you how long that's been and how long it lasted. But with finishing sprays, let me prompt it up to spray. You X and then T, but and that's what they tell you, but I really just kind of go around, because I have a big old man face, something like that. And if you want to be bougie, take something to dry it. Steven got me that for a gag gift after we saw it in a YouTube, after I saw it in a YouTube video and I showed it to him. He thought that was funny, so he bought me one for $1. Yeah, it's pretty fancy. Alright, now that I have bored you to death and put a full face of makeup on, look out for some selfies of this finished product, finished look. I hope you saw something that you might want to try out or look at or ask me about. I will link in this email. I will link down at the bottom my email for you to shoot me a quick email if you want to ask me about anything. So that's it. So thanks so much for listening, watching, whatever you decided to do, and hopefully you don't unsubscribe. Bye.